Earlier this week, I had the chance to meet with several people back in my district about how this plan would impact their day-to-day and long-term financial well-being. I heard from a Wayne County resident with a family of 5 who currently spends $215 a week on groceries. With a 30% sales tax, this family would pay close to $65 more a week. That's $260 more a month on groceries and over $3,000 more a year just on groceries. I talked to a Wake County commuter who recently bought a used car for $34,000. If this bill passed, that commuter would pay $10,000 more for that same used car. I also talked to a local realtor who described how a 30% sales tax would significantly affect middle-class residents and further cause a shortage of affordable housing options. For example, right now the median price of purchasing a home in Johnston County is $350,000. With a 30% sales tax, the cost of buying a home would increase by over $100,000. Listen, folks, these increases would be astronomical. The American people deserve more than mere messaging bills and performative politics over the next 2 years, and this plan is just that. That's why we're introducing this House resolution, again with Congressman Sorensen and Congresswoman Pedersen, opposing a national sales tax on working families and supporting a tax cut to benefit middle-class families. We're proud to lead this resolution in the House, which also builds off the efforts of Senator Jon Tester and Jackie Rosen, and just today I talked with Senator Tester about this very proposal. Let's work together to pass a responsible tax cut that would benefit working families, grow the middle class, and make the ultra-wealthy and billion-dollar corporations pay their fair share. Let's also work together to find both a short-term and a long-term solution to ensure the fiscal stability in our government while protecting vital programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. I'll work with anyone, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, to lower costs, simplify the tax code for the middle class, and tackle the most pressing kitchen table issues facing our friends, families, and neighbors in North Carolina's 13th District. Now, I'm very excited to turn it over to my friend from the great state of Illinois, Eric Sorensen.
Thank you, Wiley. Thank you, Congressman Nickel, for leading us off here. I'm also proud to stand here with Congresswoman Pedersen in introducing this important legislation. I've heard, too, from people in my district that are working hard to make ends meet, struggling to pay for the grocery bill. We in the heartland, we see a couple of things as determination of how hard it is to live. It's the price of a gallon of milk, which has been around $5 a gallon, and also the cost of eggs. It's the cost of gas. We need to bring these costs down for everyday Americans. And I hear that from the people in my district. The last thing that anybody needs now, as we're struggling to make ends meet, is a tax increase. A 30% tax increase, I want you to think about that for a moment. What does that mean for our working families? What does that mean for our senior citizens? People who are trying to get by. We need to come together on both sides of the aisle here in Congress to make sure that we're getting results, because I was elected to Congress to lower the cost for families. People elected me to come here to help them out, to help them solve a problem. And that's what I'm here to do. And so, as the congressman said, I'll work with anyone to bring real results, not cause a new problem. And I'm proud to join the new Democrat coalition because we're the ones that get the work done. I'm urging my colleagues, not only Democratic colleagues, but Republican colleagues too, to come together, reject this national sales tax to protect working families, not just in my district, in Rockford, Illinois, Peoria, Moline, and Bloomington, Illinois, but for all of the communities and all of our hometowns across the great nation. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce my friend, my colleague from Colorado, Brittany Pedersen.
Hi everybody, my name's Brittany Pedersen. I represent the 7th District in Colorado and proud to stand alongside my colleagues here today to stand up to fight against the Republican proposal that would increase taxes for our middle and lower income families. Both of my colleagues have touched on this, but I can't stress it enough. The Republican national sales tax proposal would be absolutely devastating for Coloradans. I hear from Coloradans every day who are struggling to make ends meet. They worry, just like I did growing up, on how they were going to make it day to day, week to week, and much less by the end of the month. The last thing that we should do when gas prices are high and inflation is still up and healthcare costs are skyrocketing is increase the burden on lower income families. The idea that Republicans can even consider such a provision when their constituents are crying out for help is outrageous. Not only would this bill have negative impacts on people in Colorado and across the country, it would completely eliminate the IRS. The IRS, as you know, is responsible for collecting the revenue that we all invest in to give back to the vital services that so many of us rely on. Growing up in Jefferson County, it was because of my access to amazing public schools that I was given a chance to build a better life. Those are those critical investments that we all build together. The IRS collects that revenue and distributes back for those public service investments. And so the IRS would be completely eliminated under this bill, as well as the services that it provides. This means that if this tax burden were to go into law, families who are already struggling and have the short straw, while the wealthiest people would continue to get the breaks. When you're looking at a consumer-driven tax code, then it's the people who are unable to actually save who are paying a disproportionate level of taxes, as well as the tax level going down significantly, impacting Social Security and Medicare. This would cripple the United States, our investment in the future, investment in the next generation. I have a 3-year-old son, and so sitting back while after this was introduced and considering whether or not this would actually come to fruition and be heard in committee and given a chance to succeed is absolutely unacceptable. We need to stand up right now. This would be absolutely devastating for Colorado. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Congressman Nichols.
Thanks so much. Anyone have any questions?
Are you expecting or looking for a vote either on your resolution or on the bill itself so that members of Congress are on the record on this issue?
You know, I can tell you what I've heard publicly reported, that as part of Kevin McCarthy's deal for Speaker, that this was going to come to a vote on the floor. So we're expecting that this is going to be something that we'll see on the House floor, and we're watching.
Oh, not. It will be on the burden of middle and low income families, and without closing actually bringing the tax burden where it needs to be, with the trillions of dollars that go to helping the most wealthy in the United States.
You know, they're already talking about it, so we want to get ahead of it. We want to start talking about it now because it would be horrible for the people I represent. You know, and one of the things I think that's worth pointing out too is just the specific examples of what it does. And let me just say, you know, it really hits the retired Americans the hardest. You know, a retired couple with an income of $60,000 a year from Social Security, pensions, and savings, who currently would owe no federal income tax or payroll taxes, they would pay $7,000 more a year under the Fair Tax Act's 30% tax exclusive rate. So, you know, they're paying zero right now, over $7,000 extra. I mean, that hits retirees incredibly hard. And, you know, you look at, you know, public policy proposals. If you want a bill that helps the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, a 30% national sales tax is exactly what you want. And for my constituents, it's the wrong message.
If I could say something too to that effect, the reason that we're here talking about this today is our constituents are already talking about this. We can't wait for something to make it to the floor of the House before we stand on principle and fight for our communities. And that's what we're doing here today. We're saying that this is not fair, this is not right. And if we are the representatives of the people back home, we're going to represent them and be their voice here in Washington.
I also, we support simplifying the tax code and bringing fairness to our tax code. This does the exact opposite and actually moves us disproportionately with more handouts for the people that have already consolidated wealth over decades of being prioritized in our tax system.
Any other questions? All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate your work.
That was it.
Thank you. I know, and we've now piled up every piece of.
I thought this was sort of helpful. It was a little more support.
No, I'm a birthday.
Say hi really quick. Hi. How are you doing? I was like, wow, there's really nothing going on because he doesn't.
Well, actually, there's a lot going on, and I need to get back. But I wanted to ask you. Yeah, can we watch the
Mine.
Yeah, I got your back.